staying at grandma's for the weekend. Been away too long. Well, Billy and Bonnie are headed to the city. They wanna have a good time. With the full tank of gas, the truck will be rocking, flying down I-49. Down the road, down the road, down the road, down the road. Well, let me tell you about it. Oh, yeah. Well, they get to the drive-in and the movie's done started. It doesn't matter to them. Without the four screaming kids, it feels like heaven. It may not happen again. Well, Billy and Bonnie pull up to the driveway. The party's about to begin. A little bit of dancing and a lot of romance, and they hope that it never ends. Down the road, down the road, down the road, down the road. Well, let me tell you about it. Come on. Down the road, down the road.
Hi, I'm Norm Garner, Director of Training for the National Canine Interdiction Association, and welcome to the Way of the Dog.
Ripper started wondering where you're going, where have you been? Tried to trace your steps along the way.
You'll notice that the dog and handler are being accompanied by two extra people. In Schutzen, this is the judge and the steward. In our line of work, it's backup officers there to help us stay safe. Next, you'll see the dog lay down. In Schutzen, this is called indicating the article. In our line of work, it's called finding evidence. Obviously, this is important. This is why you don't want to run behind a tracking dog. You want to go slow and meticulous. Be able to stop and give the dog a command to resume, and he should do so.
If you never want it back, gotta let it go. And your mind way in the back, you should know. Just like you always do, take it slow and take another step along your way.
Notice how the dog stays focused on the handler, allowing the handler to move at any pace, fast, slow, or normal. However, things are based on a routine in this sport, and if the routine is interrupted, things begin to fall apart. Let's look at that again. The handler makes a wrong turn, and the dog has to be reset in his heel pattern. As we move on down, we see the dog is resuming what he's supposed to do. We cannot afford to have this in our line of work. We need to have the dog work regardless of what's happening around us. watch this dog during the blind search. This is a simulated search for the bad guy. It takes a lot of obedience to do this exercise. And you'll see that it's only an obedience exercise until he gets to blind 6. When we put him back through the blind, I'm going to freeze frame him as he comes around. Here he comes. He's going to go around the blind. It's going to be obvious that he is not looking for anyone in that blind. We have to have this kind of control over our dogs when they search, but they've got to be looking for somebody at every turn.
When you will thunder in a driving rain, your face reflects in every window pane. I see your memory through my tears, through my tears. I'll keep on riding through the years, through the years. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
see that the dog has located the bad guy. The handler has the bad guy step out, but he fails to disarm the bad guy. This is not something we want to do. Another thing that happens here is if you watch the handler, he is not watching the bad guy. He is watching the dog. You see him here plainly watching the dog. We want to keep our eye on the suspect. He's going to show good control here. He leaves the dog alone with the suspect. This is also something that we wouldn't do. Maybe a homeowner or a private citizen could do this, but we'd want to stay with the suspect. Another criticism of this sport is that the dog comes in and hits the sleeve. Remember that this sport is done in a way that neither the dog or the helper are in danger. The other thing is that when the helper stops, the dog releases. We don't want this. We want the dog to out when we tell him to and not until. Again, the quick release. Yes, it's a nice barking guard, but in real life, it's just not going to work that way. You see the judge and the steward, those are your backup officers. They're coming in to help you arrest the suspect. Notice still the suspect has not been disarmed. But again, this is a sport. This is not real life. We can learn a lot of things from the control that's used in this sport, along with other sports, French ring, Mondio ring, the KMPV. They all have their advantages. The philosophies that are used in these sports are great. You see here an attack on the handler. The distance is too great between the bad guy and the dog, and also the guy's still armed. This wouldn't have happened in our line of work. Again, with a quick release, the good thing is the control of the dog. The handler's going to approach and take the weapon away from the helper. And then he's going to escort him to the judge and the steward. If you're out in the backyard and you're trying to get this guy out of the yard, you want to move him out front, then you can do an operation something like this. Get him to where you have help. He's going to transport this guy right up, and he's going to hand that weapon to the judge. In our line of work, this may be your sergeant. But the point is that instead of just discounting all of these philosophies because they are sports, that we need to look at the good things that they can offer us and adapt the things that they use to fit our line of work. And now take a look at some clips from the National Canine Interdiction Association style of training. This is what we'll be working for in the future.